Hi everyone, this is Germinal Van. So today we're not talking at all about econometrics. In fact, we're talking about empiricism in the social sciences. And the reason why I decided to address this topic is because there are many people who confuse, first of all, social sciences and humanities. And based on this confusion, they assert that you cannot use empiricism in the social sciences. I remember I made a post a couple weeks ago between French rationalism and British empiricism, and there was one guy who said that empiricism has absolutely no place in the social sciences. So I would like to debunk this. I would like to address this confusion so that people will know. So first and foremost, there is a distinction between social sciences and humanities. So social science is first and foremost the scientific study of human relationship and society. So again, social sciences are the scientific study of human relationship and society. By scientific, it means that by essence, social sciences are empirical. I repeat again. Social sciences are the scientific study of human relationship and human society. By essence, something which is scientific is necessarily empirical. When we talk about empiricism, people think that empiricism necessarily means quantification. It does not necessarily mean that you have to use quantitative methods. But I will come to that in a second. And humanities are the study of human culture. So in humanities, you do not need to apply the scientific method for your analysis. And what are the fields that we find in both? In the social sciences, you have basically political science, poli-sci, history, law, education, psychology, human geography, anthropology, sociology, education, etc. So you have all of that, and economics, finance, all of these. Let me even put it here: economics, finance, all of that are social sciences. And in each of these fields that I just mentioned, we use the scientific method in order to reach valid conclusions. In the humanities, you have philosophy, art, literature, religion. What am I missing? Philosophy, art, literature, religion. Well, if you guys have any other, if you guys know any other field in the humanities, please let me know. Oh, also I forgot to say history. So you guys may say, why you put history in the social sciences and also in the humanities? So when you learn the history of the culture of a given people, that's humanities. But when you study the political and the economic history of a society, it becomes a social science, because you get to apply the scientific method in order to reach a valid conclusion in your analysis. So now that we have clarified the difference between social sciences and humanities, now we're going to talk about how empiricism is used in the social sciences. All right. All right. So now we are moving to empirical methods in the social sciences. So I printed a sheet here that I will use to guide you guys through. So there are two kinds of methods, or should I say research methods. So you have quantitative research, or should I say quantitative methods, but quantitative research methods, and you have qualitative methods. So for those who are anti-empiricism in the social sciences, when you see someone like Friedrich von Hayek using verbal and logical reasoning to make his analysis in economics, he uses empirical data, but he uses qualitative empirical data and qualitative methods to reach valid conclusions. And then when you have someone like Milton Friedman used quantitative methods to reach those valid same conclusions. So if you do economics, by essence, you are doing empiricism too. It's just that you may not use statistical methods for your analysis, but you still use an empirical method to reach that valid conclusions. Otherwise, there is no way you can reach that conclusion unless you do voodoo. So now let's start first with quantitative methods. So quantitative methods are used to gather information through numerical data. So of course qualitative is non-numerical data. And it's important to understand that in the social sciences, the numerical data we use are what we call observational or retrospective data. So pretty much they are historical data. That's what we use. In the natural sciences, they create their own data because they use experimental methods to create the data and to develop their test and reach their conclusions. So in physics, chemistry, or biology, they use experimental data. In the social sciences, we use historical data. That's why you cannot conduct experiments in the social sciences. But it doesn't mean that you do not do empiricism. You still do, because you apply empirical methods to reach valid conclusions. So why do we use quantitative research methods? Simply to quantify opinions. So we use it to quantify opinions, behaviors, and other defined variables. And how do we do that? So you see people who use polls, they use surveys, questionnaire, and stuff like that. So that's how you use quantitative methods, but I will come into that in a second too. And then what is the purpose of qualitative research methods? So as I said, we use non-numerical data in qualitative research methods, and the purpose is to find meanings in people's opinions and feelings. So very important. People's opinions and feelings. So these methods are more like unstructured. So they can go either way. While in the quantitative methods, they're very structured and they're pretty much predetermined. So now we're going to talk about the different methods that we use in the quantitative methods for empiricism. So you have surveys, as I said. So you have surveys / questionnaire. You use also correlational research. So as you can see, correlational research means that you're trying to establish a correlations between two variables. Correlational research. You use also longitudinal research. Longitudinal research and cross-sectional. Cross-sectional research. So all of these methods that we use in quantitative research are based on statistical techniques. So if you do not know how to use statistical techniques, start learning statistics. It's crucial. Start learning statistics. Start learning how to perform a basic regression. Because when you use quantitative methods in the social sciences to reach a valid conclusion, that's what you do. You use statistical techniques by analyzing the data, and then you test your hypothesis through those techniques. And when it comes to now the qualitative methods, oh, I forgot. We also have causal. So still in the quantitative one, we have causal and comparative research. So these are the 5 methods that we use in quantitative research methods in the social sciences. So if you have a friend, for instance, who is in market research, ask them how they do their research, because every company on earth apply empiricism in order to understand the market, in order to understand the consumer's behavior, what they like, what they don't like. That's why you always receive a survey after you purchase a product or service. They always send you that nice email and ask you how you appreciate the service, so that they can quantify your answer to create to see the trend, and in order to create a concrete analysis that will help them understand how they can improve their product. So now we are moving to qualitative research methods. So you have case study. You have case study. You have observational methods. You have one-on-one interviews. This is specifically for biographers, or when you watch a documentary, you see people being interviewed. That's what they do. That's qualitative methods here. Focus groups. So for those who know the famous GOP pollster Frank Luntz, he does focus groups in order to understand voters' behavior. So he uses empiricism. He doesn't use quantitative methods, but he uses qualitative methods in order to reach his valid conclusion. And his work has helped the GOP win the House and the Senate in the previous years. And then we have text analysis. And I can even add also ethnography. So ethnography is used in history. So for those who do not use cliometrics in history, they use ethnography. So ethnography is basically the use of primary and secondary sources. So these are the methods that we use in qualitative research. So when we say, for example, case study, even look at the legal system in English-speaking countries. Look at the United States. The United States, they base their legal system on precedents. Why? Because it's empirical. Because when you make an argument before the judge, you say, oh, Your Honor, according to US v. blah, 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 which is, and then you cite the case, the judge can go and check and see if what you're saying is true. But for instance, in the French legal system, we don't use the legal precedent. We use what we call the legislative process. So the legislative process creates a law, and the judge bases his judgment on that law. He used that law just being created to conduct a legal judgment. And I don't really like that method. I prefer the legal precedent that the Americans and the British use. It's more concrete because we can use the previous cases to understand the current cases and make decisions based on that. So, ladies and gentlemen, these are the two methods that we use in the social sciences. So if you do social sciences, whether you're in history, political science, economics, finance, anthropology, sociology, or psychology, you are doing empiricism. Whether you like it or not, you are still doing empiricism. It's not because you're not using quantitative methods that you're not doing empiricism. Empiricism is simply the method through which people can verify that what you're saying is actually true. That's all. When you see people writing something and you go to the end of the book or the paper and you see the references, they cite all the sources they use. They just did empiricism there. So, ladies and gentlemen, like, you need to understand that in social sciences are still science. But they're called soft science. Of course, quantitative methods cannot answer all the questions in the social science. That's why qualitative methods are the most used in the social science. But the social science are empirical. We can use empiricism in the social science, and people do it all the time. It's not because you don't use quantitative methods in the social science that you're not doing empiricism. If you use verbal reasoning or logical reasoning, and you use any of these methods here, whether it's focus group, one-on-one interviews, observational methods, text analysis, case study, if you use any of these to make your analysis concrete, meaningful, and valid, you are doing empiricism. You're just using qualitative methods. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this video now shut down all confusions about why empiricism cannot be used in the social science. It is a false statement when people say that empiricism can be and is used all the time in the social science. You can simply not use empiricism in the humanities, like if you're doing literature or, I don't know, art or music. But if you're doing political science, history, finance, economics, whatever, you are definitely doing empiricism. You're using empiricism. So I hope you find this video informative, instructive. If you like it, please subscribe, like, and share the videos with anyone who's interested in empiricism, statistics, econometrics, and the social science in general. Until then, see you guys next time.